Walking in the footsteps of peace, walking in the footsteps of tranquility, walking in the footsteps of peace. Jesus, peace. Welcome to the Walking in the Footsteps of Peace podcast, a production of sacredlighthouse.org. For more information, please go to sacredlighthouse.org. The material in this podcast was produced by Kevin L. Tower, our friend and integral member of the Sacred Lighthouse. We thank you for being with us today.
Today I will explain the little way of love, of Saint Thérèse of the Child Jesus, and how it can help you in your daily life. The basic teaching of Saint Thérèse is that when people offend you, you respond with love. Even if you are hurt, you respond with love. Saint Thérèse of the Child Jesus was a Catholic religious sister. She entered the Carmelite convent in Lisieux, France, when she was 16, and was given the name she dreamed of, Sister Thérèse of the Child Jesus and the Holy Face. Thérèse died of tuberculosis when she was 24. Thérèse had a childhood devotion to the child Jesus and developed her spirituality from it, focusing on becoming a child of Christ. In our world, there are many kind and loving people that we come into daily contact with. Even good people have bad moments when stress causes them to react harshly. When they do, we experience their wrath. Now we can let their wrath affect us to varying degrees. Maybe we respond to them with our own wrath and let them experience what we receive from them. Perhaps we keep our mouths shut and keep moving, letting that event fester in us for the rest of the day. We could, however, respond with love. Why not break the chain or cycle, so one person's anger doesn't travel all the way around the block, affecting more and more people like dominoes falling? We can just be polite and respond with love. Saint Therese's teachings come from sacred scripture that calls us to be like little children. Thérèse is speaking of childlike faith and childlike love. This comes from several scriptures. In Matthew 18:3 and 4, Jesus said, "Truly I say to you, unless you turn and become like children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Whoever humbles himself like this child, he is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven." In John 13:34, Jesus said, "A new commandment I give to you, that you love one another, even as I have loved you, that you also love one another." In John 6:27, Jesus said, "But I say to you that hear, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, pray for those who abuse you." In 1 Corinthians, the Apostle Paul wrote, "For now we see in a mirror dimly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, then I shall understand fully, even as I have been fully understood." So faith, hope, and love abide, these three, but the greatest of these is love. In Hebrews 13:13-14, St. Paul wrote, "Therefore let us go forth to him outside the camp, bearing abuse for him. For here we have no lasting city, but we seek the city which is to come." In Santa Teresa's early years at the convent, she was corrected by her superiors. One superior dealt with her rather harshly. Thérèse decided to accept those moments of correction, even if the superior was wrong, as little penances for her own faults and the faults of others. We are not perfect. All of us have our faults. Hopefully we seek to correct them. Can we take these moments in our lives when we experience the wrath of other people and accept it peacefully, while chalking it up to those moments when we were wrong? What else could Jesus mean when he said, "Bless those who curse you"? Or what Paul said about bearing abuse for Christ? What did Jesus mean when he said, "Love one another as I have loved you"? Jesus give us his merciful love, mercy to the depths of our humanity and the sure ugliness of our sins. That's how we are to love one another, excusing someone for the wrath they express on a bad day, is a minuscule portion of the merciful love we are supposed to have for one another. When St. Paul said, "For now we see in a mirror dimly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, then I shall understand fully, even as I have been fully understood," he meant that we do not understand the world as God does. Somehow the suffering in life has meaning we will not fully understand in this life. We must accept that it is not up to us to fully understand the mystery of human suffering, but to do our part to help heal those who suffer. We all suffer, but in different ways. We have to accept Jesus' teaching on love and forgiveness. Maybe you're not religious or even interested in faith. You can still apply this practice of the little way to your life. Think about how much more peaceful and productive your life could become if you responded to other people's wrath with love. You stop being triggered. You stop having little events throw you off course. Your thoughts become more peaceful and less biased. That would be a plus in your life. Now, if you're a Christian, there is even a bigger plus to following the little way. You end up living a life of virtue and a Christ-centered life. You live up to the new commandment Jesus gave us. Jesus tells us to turn the other cheek. In order to have childlike love, we must be willing to do this. To have childlike faith, we must accept this teaching. It's a no-brainer. Like a hole in the sidewalk in front of your house. You can keep stepping over it, always risking the chance of tripping, stumbling and falling into that hole, or you can fill it in and not have to worry about it. So that's what Thérèse taught. Just fill that hole of other people's wrath with love. And the worry and risk is gone. There is a plus to the little way of love. When you practice it, you not only help yourself, you help the person who's having a bad day, and you end up more pleasant to the people you meet the rest of the day. The spiritual treasure of the little way of love may have come from Saint Thérèse of Lisieux, but it can apply in your life whether you're spiritual or not. Walk with us in following the little way of love, and we can walk in the footsteps of peace together. Father, you gave your Son for us, who inspired Thérèse of the Child Jesus to teach us the little way of love. May you open our hearts to inspire us to practice the little way of love in our daily lives. Let us share your merciful love with others.
You have been listening to Walking in the Footsteps of Peace, a production of sacredlighthouse.org. Thank you for being with us today. For more information, please go to sacredlighthouse.org. May you find peace in all that you live by walking in the footsteps of peace. Walking in the footsteps of peace. Walking in the footsteps of tranquility. Walking in the footsteps of peace. Jesus.